Oh, hello there. Welcome once again. I wondered where you were. For a moment I thought you weren't going to make it, but here you are, and I'm very happy to see you here once again on another Sunday live stream. Already we are almost halfway through November. Where are the months going, I ask myself. So here we are, live and direct from England. Coming up today, we have you, of course, on the live stream with the things you want to talk about. Also, Mr. Steve will be here later on as well to talk about words and expressions connected to our lovely feathery friends, the birds. And I will be here as well. There are some slight changes to the appearance of the live stream today, as you will find out very shortly. After all, it's a Sunday afternoon. It's just after 2 o'clock here in the UK, and this is Live English.
Live from Much Wenlock in England on a Sunday afternoon. This is Live English.
It sure is, baby. I know I say it every week, but these weeks and months are really flying by. So here we go again. It is Sunday. It's a fun day. It's time to learn some English on the Live English stream. It sure is. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Well, are you happy? I really hope so. Welcome to a super duper autumnal day. It looks so wonderful outside. Let's have a look at the live view first of all. Oh my goodness, look at that. It looks like a painting, but it is a live view from the studio window. So as you can see, everything is looking rather nice today. A very bright day here in the UK. I hope where you are, it is lovely as well. Let's have another view, shall we? There it is. Oh my goodness. That looks very autumnal. Very seasonal. For this time of year, of course, as I always mention every week, I absolutely love autumn. I really love it so much. I can't express how much I love autumn. And let's have a look at that view. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. How amazing that looks. I can't believe that that is a live image of the outside of my window, but it is. There it is, live right now. So here we go. It is a Sunday afternoon and it's Live English all the way with me, Mr. Duncan. You may have noticed some slight changes. I won't mention them. I will leave it to you to discover what the changes are. There is some unfinished business from last week, by the way. There is something last week that I meant to mention, but I didn't mention. So, last week's mystery idiom. Do you remember the mystery idiom for last week? Well, I will show you the mystery idiom from last week. So here it is. So this is the mystery idiom, but I forgot, because I'm very naughty, I forgot to give you the answer to the mystery idiom from last week. I had so many people writing to me saying, Mr. Duncan, you didn't tell us what the mystery idiom answer was. So here it is today. The answer to last week's mystery idiom, the final straw or the last straw. The meaning, a further difficulty or annoyance that comes on top of a series of previous difficulties that makes a situation unbearable. You cannot take any more. This latest difficulty is the final straw. So there it was, last week's mystery idiom that I completely forgot to give the answer to. So I hope you are all very, very happy about that now, because I've given it to you. Very busy day, very busy week. I have been making some changes in the studio this week, and I had an accident as well. I had a terrible fall whilst making some alterations here in the studio. I fell over and I injured one of my toes. I twisted the toe right back and it was very painful, and then it went a very strange purple colour. So I got a little worried because it was a strange colour and also it was very painful. So for a moment or two I thought I had broken the toe. Fortunately I hadn't, but it's still very painful. There is one thing I can't stand, and that is pain. I'm sure you are the same as well. Mr. Steve was also very busy this morning. In fact, around about 25 minutes ago, Steve was in the garden, very busy. Can you see what Steve is doing? Steve is clipping his bushes. There is nothing worse than an untidy bush. No one wants their bush to be long and messy. So there is Steve. There he is. Look, hello, Steve. He is trimming the bushes. He is cutting the bushes in the garden. And I think he's making a very good job of it as well. So just to show you that on Sunday mornings we are not lazy. Some people think that we do nothing on a Sunday except the live stream. But Mr. Steve is always busy in the garden, especially today because the weather is very nice. So Mr. Steve took the opportunity, he took the chance to go outside to do a little bit of gardening. And he looks quite pleased with himself there. And the things that he has in his hand are called shears. There we go. Steady, Mr. Steve. He's not very safe, is he, with those shears? They are very sharp things. Now, I was led to believe that Mr. Steve wasn't supposed to handle anything sharp. So I'm not sure about that. But there he is, Mr. Steve, very busy in the garden today, trimming his bushes. Talking of Mr. Steve, he will be here later on at around about 2:30.
Did it get colder in here, or is it just me?
I think it's you, Mr. Steve, definitely. I think it definitely is Mr. Steve, I think so. He will be here at 2:30 today. Talking of things coming up, we also have lots of words and expressions connected to birds and parts of a bird. So all of that coming later on with Mr. Steve. And how can I forget the live chat? Yes, we have the live chat as well. So let's say hello to the live chat. And there it is. But the big question is, who was first? Well, can I just say today there is a kind of tie for the first person on the live chat. There is a tie because I think there are two people who were on first. So let's go back to the beginning of the live chat to have a look at who was first. Well, first of all, we have Belarusia, but I know that Belarusia left that message this morning when I was putting my live stream thumbnail preparing today's live stream. So in fact, Belarusia was first, but she was on this morning on the live chat. So I suppose technically Belarusia is first, but in actual fact, after the live stream started, it was actually Matrix. So just to make things fair, To Matrix and also Belarusia, can I say congratulations for being first on the live chat today. So there you go. So I don't want any fighting. So Belarusia, also don't forget you are in charge today of the live chat. So if anyone misbehaves, if there is any swearing or any hatred or nastiness, Belarusia, you have the power of moderation. You can moderate today. Caesar is here as well. Hello, Caesar. Hello, Layla. Also Martha. And Tomek is here as well. Nice to see you here, Tomek. Blue Thunder. And also Deepak. Hello, Deepak. Is it your first time today on the live chat? I don't think I've seen you here before. Also Karthi, Hala, also Ligia, Blue Thunder is here, also Louis, and Palmyra. Hello, Palmyra. I haven't seen you for a long time on the live chat. Hello to you as well. Alamgir is here as well with a lovely Union flag. So you can see that Alamgir is displaying the flag of England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. We call it the Union flag, or sometimes the Union Jack. Troy is here watching in China. Hello to China. Hello. Hello, China. A big ni hao to you as well. Grace is here watching in Malaysia. Oh, hello. Also, Sally Sweet in Italy. So many people. Vitali is here as well. Salom asks, what time is it in your country? Well, you can see just behind me the clock. It is just after 2:15, just after 2:15 in the afternoon here in England. And we are live and direct from England at the moment. So if it is your first time here today, hello and welcome. You are more than welcome to join in. Also, a big hello to Alice. Long time no see. I think so. Yes, I haven't seen you for a very long time, Alice. Nice to see you back on the live chat. Also, Anna is here. Razul is here. Wow, so many people. It looks like we've got a very busy one today. Also, Analytic Brain is here. Hello, Analytic Brain. And can I say a big thank you once again for your lovely donation last week on PayPal. Thank you very much for that. Bruno is here. Also, we have Sujin. Hello, Sujin. Nice to see you back also. Alberto. Hello. It's a nice sunny afternoon. It certainly is. It's a great day today. Mika says, hello, my daughter-in-law is in labour. So Mika's daughter-in-law is about to have a baby. A little baby is going to pop out. I see. I can't wait to see my first grandchild. Can I just say something? There is nothing that makes you feel more older than grandchildren. So as soon as you start to get grandchildren, you definitely feel as if you are getting old. That's what I think anyway. It's just my opinion. Cesario says the view is amazing. Greetings from Mexico. A big hello to you as well. Jimmy. Hello, Jimmy. It's time for Mr. Duncan's live chat and the beginning of the Nitto ATP World Tour Finals. It is tennis. So I think Jimmy is a big fan of tennis. Caradas is here as well. What is the tree? Is it a birch? Yes, the big tree that you saw earlier is actually a silver birch. You are right, Caradas. Good Games says, hello, Mr. Duncan. How are you? Are you healthy? Yes, I am. Even though I injured myself this week. I fell over in the studio and I injured my toe. And for a moment, I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. But fortunately, I didn't. But it's still very painful. So can you see how much I suffer to make these live English streams? I actually injured myself this week just to do that for you. Wow, what is it? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe you can tell me. Anna Rita says, Mika, it's wonderful. Wish you all the best for your new grandchild. So I think it is Mika's first granddaughter. Wow. Also, we have Connell here. Hello, Connell. Yes, Connell is mentioning last week's mystery idiom. By the way, there will be a mystery idiom coming up in a moment this week, a new mystery idiom. Yes, Mr. Duncan, you have made some changes to your studio. I have. It looks a little more modern, dare I say. Thank you, Pedro. And also Pedro is one of today's moderators on the live chat. Rungsak is here. Hello, Julie G from Rungsak. Isn't that nice? I like it when people say hello to each other. It's ever so nice. So we are up to date with the live chat. Also, we have Tan Huen and also Awad. Awad. Hello to Awad as well. Nice to see so many people here on the live stream. Now, here in the UK today, it is a very special day. And also across Europe, there are commemorations taking place. In fact, they were taking place this morning, and they are related to a special event. Today is Remembrance Sunday, also known as Poppy Day. And there is a lesson that I've made on my YouTube channel. So there is a lesson on my YouTube channel that I made all about this particular topic. All about Poppy Day, also called Remembrance Day. But of course, today's remembrance is special because it is 100 years since the end of the First World War. So it's actually the end of the First World War, the anniversary of it today. I seem to be losing my voice. I don't know where it's going. Also here in Much Wenlock as well, there were commemorations taking place. Would you like to have a look? Okay then. So even here in Much Wenlock this morning, there were commemorations taking place for the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Also something else happening today. It is also the 100th anniversary, the centenary of the independence of Poland, when Poland became independent once more. And there you can see in the street, in the centre of Much Wenlock, you can see one of the buildings has been decorated with handmade poppies. Can you see them? So from 1918 to 2018, 100 years since the end of the First World War. 100 years ago. I can't quite believe it. And for those that are interested in watching my YouTube lesson, the link is underneath this video. It's right underneath. So you can watch it underneath. The link is displayed below the live stream. I don't know what's happening today, but I appear to be losing my voice. So please excuse me if my voice is a little bit croaky today. I do apologize very much for that. Something else yesterday we were doing. Oh, we went for a lovely walk yesterday. Would you like to have a look? Here we go then. So we were having a lovely walk yesterday. And I know that I love mentioning autumn, but I'm going to mention it again. The beautiful autumn colours. I love the leaves on the ground. I love the colours of the leaves, not only when they are on the trees, but also when they have fallen to the ground. I love the appearance. Aren't they lovely? So we went walking yesterday. There is Mr. Steve. You can see him walking. And all the leaves on the ground. A beautiful display of colour. And I think Mr. Steve yesterday was getting very bored because I kept talking about autumn during the walk. And there you can see a nice view as we walked along. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? The leaves on the ground. What about you? Do you have autumn where you are? Do you have the season of autumn? I know that some countries don't. Some countries don't have autumn. They only have hot and dry seasons. And then sometimes it is wet. But here in the UK we have very definite seasons. We have spring, summer, autumn and winter. And there is actually an autumn lesson on my YouTube channel. So there is one on my YouTube channel all about the season of autumn. And look at that, some beautiful red berries are also growing on one of the bushes in the garden, looking very amazing this year. All of the trees and all of the bushes looking quite colourful. And there, look at that. Oh my goodness. I always get so excited about autumn. The autumn colours. I don't know what it is, but it always sends a little tingle up my spine whenever I look out the window, especially in the morning. Because sometimes in the morning the weather can be very, very murky, very misty, very foggy. So I hope you enjoyed that. A little view during our walk yesterday. So I hope you enjoyed that. Something a little different, just for a change. It is Live English and it's myself, Mr. Duncan. The big question today must be, what is Mr. Steve wearing? Now let's have a little look, shall we? Because last week, this is what Mr. Steve wore last week. And a lot of people, including me, think that that particular shirt looks a little bit like a newsstand. So you can see on the left there is a newsstand, and on the right there is Mr. Steve with his shirt. And I think they look very similar to each other. Very similar indeed. So if you would like to see my Remembrance Day lesson, you are more than welcome to do so. You can do that very easily. That is no problem. The link is underneath this very video. But where is Mr. Steve? I have no idea. He was outside this morning doing the gardening. In fact, he spent the whole morning outside doing the gardening. So here we go with today's mystery idiom. Would you like to have a look at today's mystery idiom? Okay then, here it comes right now. There it is, today's mystery idiom. Just say what you see, and if you know what the expression means, if you know the meaning of the expression, you can let me know as well on the live chat. So there it is, today's mystery idiom. But the big question is, what is today's mystery idiom? What is it? If you think you know, let me know on the live chat. Talking of which, wow, it's so busy today. Thank you very much. And already people are leaving answers. So very quick there. You are very quick off the mark. So we have some questions to ask today. Besides the mystery idiom, we also have another question, and this is something I want to ask because I mentioned this to Steve last week and I thought it would be a very good thing to talk about today. When you feel thirsty, what do you tend to drink? Now, some people like to have a fizzy drink like Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, whilst some like to have something a little stronger, maybe beer or wine. But also you can have water as well. Lovely clear water. Now some people prefer to drink their water from a bottle. So what I'm wondering today is, do you also like to do the same thing? Now this is something that I mentioned to Steve last week, and I was saying to Steve, do you think it's a waste of time drinking bottled water? Because in many countries now the water that comes out of your tap is quite clean, and so you can drink straight from the tap. For example, here in the UK you can turn the tap on and you can drink the water straight from the tap. So the water is very clean. However, these days many people do drink bottled water. So that is one of the questions I'm asking today. Do you trust the water that comes from your tap? So when you turn on the tap, can you drink the water straight from the tap? Here in the UK, our water is very safe. It is very safe to drink, so you can drink it straight from the tap. In fact, I have some tap water here. So this is not bottled water. This is actually water from the tap. And this is bottled water. This is something that I bought in a supermarket. So there is the difference. But what about the taste? Is there really a difference between bottled water and water that you drink straight from the tap? Now, some people believe that tap water is not good, whilst others disagree. So what do you think? I'm going to have some lovely tap water now. And hopefully Mr. Steve will be here soon as well. I don't know what's happened to Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve will be here in a moment. So stand by, because Mr. Steve is on his way. Mr. Steve is in the building, and oh, I see. He's looking a little stylish today, I must admit. I do like that shirt you're wearing. It looks very, very stylish.
Well, one of us has got to look smart, Mr. Duncan. Hello everybody. Hello.
It's Mr. Steve.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Steve. I'm not too bad, thank you very much.
Good. I've worn this shirt before. It's similar to last week's, but it's black, but it hasn't got so many strange stripes on it.
Yes, we were just talking about your shirt because I think it looks a little bit like a newspaper stand.
Oh, right. Yes, it does. I see what you mean now.
So it looks a little bit like a newspaper stand. So that's what Mr. Steve was wearing last week. Oh, by the way, something I want to mention first of all. Can I say a big thank you to all my lovely Patreon supporters? Now, Mr. Steve is going to be covered, look at that, by the lovely, lovely Patreon supporters. We have some great supporters. Look at that. So thank you very much to Mika, to Oskripinokva, also Tatiana, Shunichi, Petra, Anna, and also Michael and Oleg for your very kind donations every month on Patreon. And don't forget also you can make donations on PayPal as well. We've had some very lovely donations to help our work continue here on YouTube. And you can catch us live every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. And as you can see there, you can donate also at PayPal to help this continue, because we spend a lot of time and also a lot of money putting all of this together. There is always something to do, isn't there?
Certainly your time. I mean, look how your time has been spent this week, Mr. Duncan.
I nearly killed myself this week.
You did?
I fell over.
You've got a bad toe.
I fell over and I thought I had broken my toe.
It's got a funny colour.
It's got a very strange colour, but fortunately, I don't think I've broken it, but it's very painful. Quite painful indeed. So I'm suffering today.
I had to give you mouth-to-toe resuscitation.
Mr. Steve, Mr. Steve, I don't know why he did it, but Mr. Steve gave my toe a suck.
I didn't.
He was sucking my toe. He said it would make it better.
No, I wasn't. There's one thing I can't stand, that's feet.
I've noticed that. especially smelly ones.
I never go near people's feet, never.
What about you? Have you ever broken anything? Have you ever broken any part of your body? I've never, ever in my life broken any part of my body.
Touch wood. Touch wood.
Oh, thank you very
Go
much.
on. Touch wood.
Thank you,
You've got to
Steve.
say that, it's lucky.
So, but you're touching my head. What are you saying? Are you saying that my head is made of wood?
Well, that's what people traditionally say as a joke, isn't it? Touch wood, and then they touch somebody's head,
Yes,
indicating that it's probably made of wood.
that's very nice.
What about hearts? Have you broken any hearts?
Yes, but any body parts? Have you ever broken your arm or your leg? I really fear that. Do you know why? Because I've heard that sometimes if you break a limb, like an arm or something, sometimes the bone will break and then it will actually come out the skin.
If you have a bad accident, I think you believe it can. Yes.
Oh, I do not like that. So that's the worst part. Also, of course, I would imagine if you break your arm or your leg, I would imagine it's very painful as well.
Yes, but some people have very bad injuries and they don't feel any pain because your body goes into shock,
Oh, okay.
but the pain comes later when you suddenly realise what's happened and you're in the hospital. I think the pain hits quite often a bit later on. But yes, so you've never broken anything?
I have never broken any bones in my body. Now, this week I
It's a
thought
very safe life, Mr. Duncan.
I thought this week I had broken my toe, but fortunately I haven't. So my record of breaking bones in my body is still clear. What about you?
I've broken my ankle
Ooh.
in a car accident
Ah, yes, you've mentioned that.
years ago.
You've mentioned that before.
I think I have, yes. Well, it was fractured.
Oh,
And as a result of that, I now have a bit of arthritis in the joint. 30 odd years later, and I find I can't run on it anymore.
isn't a fracture the same as breaking something?
Well, when you fracture it, a break means that the bones actually separate. They just separate. If it's a fracture,
Yes.
then it hasn't gone all the way across the bone, or it might have done, but the bones don't separate.
So it might be like a very deep crack
yes,
in the bone.
That's right,
Okay,
yes.
yes. So anyway, shall we have a look at the live chat?
Go on.
Yes, before we get distracted by something else Mr. Steve wants to talk about.
Pedro and Belarus here in the driving seat again today.
They are
I can see.
They are in control. So let's have a quick look. Let's catch up with what has been going on.
Well, what has been? I heard you talking about drinking water. Thank you, G. From, for saying that I look great.
Mavi says, I've never broken any part of my body. You are very lucky, just like me.
Martha hasn't it either.
So Martha's never broken any part of her body either. That's very good. Anybody else? Has anyone ever broken anything?
Tomek says he's broken his meniscus. I don't know what that is.
Meniscus. I'm not sure. I've torn my meniscus.
It's a ligament.
It sounds like a ligament or
He's testing us there, Tomek. He's testing us, see if what we know.
it sounds like a ligament or a tendon.
Yes, probably.
Yes. It sounds like
Maybe has had her heart broken a lot. Haven't we all?
yes.
That's the worst kind of breaking of all, having your heart broken.
Have you really had your heart broken, Mr. Steve?
Many times. And I, of course, have broken many hearts myself
Really?
over the years. Oh, yes, Mr. Duncan. Well, just look at me. One look and I just break people's hearts because I have to say, no, I'm already spoken for. I'm not interested in your advances. And, of course, they keep on pursuing me, but eventually they get bored, and they probably I don't know what happens to them. They probably probably end up in a hospital or something with a broken heart, depressed,
maybe-
on tablets.
Maybe a mental hospital.
I mean, I can't help it. It's just the way I am.
Yes, okay then. That's what your mother says as well. So once when I was 10 years old, says Alberto, I broke both my arms. Oh my
It was painful.
goodness.
Oh.
I do not like that at all. Alberto broke both his arms. How?
Yes.
How do you manage to break both arms?
See, there's Caridas there is talking about the body producing endorphins, pain-relieving chemicals that the body releases when you've had a serious injury to sort of stop you feeling pain. I don't know where that's gone, but it was there somewhere.
I could do with some endorphins now.
Really?
Can I have some endorphins?
Natural painkillers. They're great. Well, we could always test it out. You were talking about tap water, I heard you saying.
Yes, I mentioned it earlier because if you remember last week, I was talking about our habit. So we have a habit, don't we, of also buying water in bottles. Saturino says, I drink tap water. It's very good. The bottles try to win you over, the tap water, that by saying that the tap water is undrinkable. So some people think you shouldn't drink water from the tap. But here in the UK, I think our tap water is quite safe. But you and I have this habit now where we just buy lots and lots of bottles of water.
Well, because tap water is safe to drink, but it doesn't taste very nice because you've always got that aftertaste of chlorine, which we don't like. So you've only got two ways round that.
Okay.
You either buy bottled water, which definitely tastes a lot nicer than tap water, or you buy a filter, and like a Britax filter, Brita I think they're called, or other equivalents, and then you filter the water to remove the chlorine and other chemicals that make the water taste unpalatable. But of course, so you've got two choices there. Bottled water, of course, is supposed to be bad for the environment because you've got all these bottles, plastic bottles that have got to be disposed of. And just carrying them, I would think, just transporting them to a supermarket must be incredibly costly in terms of fuel.
Yes, but all of this is about health, though, isn't it? So when you think about your health, quite often the environment becomes less of a priority.
Yes.
So I think that's the thing to bear in mind. So I've noticed this a lot when humans start talking about their health. Sometimes you think, well, maybe having bottled water is better for you, but of course, bottled water comes in plastic bottles, which, as we all know now, isn't that good for the environment.
Someone's already pointed out as well that and a study has discovered that bottled water does contain small particles of plastic.
Yes.
So you're getting rid of the chlorine and other things, but then you're substituting that with plastic from the bottle.
What I think
So
also
is that going to be good for you?
What I think is maybe if you get the cheaper water, or maybe if it's been bottled very cheaply, so maybe the plastic isn't as good as far as the quality.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But to be honest, I don't. So I've got some tap water here today, so I'm being very brave. This is actually some British tap water, straight from the.
See, we used to filter the water with one of these Brita filters.
Straight from the tap.
And I think I'm going to go back to that. But then you don't know what the filter is putting into the water either. So probably tap water is probably the safest.
Yes. Anyway, I don't want to
Particularly in the UK.
I don't want to get too confused. So we're just talking about tap water or bottled water. So that's it, those two things.
Like rainwater.
I
You
remember
can collect rainwater and drink that. That's probably very good for you.
I would imagine so, but again, that's not in a bottle.
Well, you could bottle it yourself.
But I remember in China, when I lived in China, they always suggested that you didn't drink the tap water. So they had tap water, but apparently it wasn't completely pure. So I think when the water was being filtered, I think it wasn't 100% clean. So I always boiled the water.
Well, for us going abroad, because we've got very clean water, yes, Pedro, you can ask me a question. You can. Of course you can. You can always ask anything. This is what this is all about.
That's
so
what-
ask away. But yes, what they would say, whenever we used to go abroad on holiday, virtually every country, you're always advised never to drink the tap water in other countries because it's probably either it's not as pure as water in the UK, or it might be, but there might be different contaminants in there that your body's not used to. But generally, when we go abroad, we're always advised not to drink out of the tap, aren't we? Particularly if it's somewhere like Greece or Spain. But certainly if we go to, I think, I don't know if France is all right, but anywhere in Europe, if you go on holiday, we're never advised to drink the water
I'm
out
looking
of the
now.
tap.
Alberta says drinking water from the tap is not recommended here in Gran Canaria.
Right.
At least not in the main city. Probably in the countryside, it's no problem.
So
Well,
what do you drink, Alberto? If you don't drink the tap water, what do you drink? I mean, presumably you could boil the water. And I mean, in America, there's been all sorts of scandals with water being contaminated with aluminium and things like that because they dumped too much. There was one firm, there was a scandal in America where this whole town, hundreds of thousands of people have been poisoned by
Yes.
contaminants going into the tap water.
As I understand, that's still an ongoing situation.
Yes,
I
it
know. I
is.
know where you're talking about. It's a place called Flint.
That's it.
Flint in Michigan, in the United States, and their water is all contaminated. As I understand it, it's also the impurities are things like also rust, chemicals, things that have seeped.
Yes.
Seeped. I love that word. If something seeps, it means it moves slowly through something. So all of the chemicals, all of the bad stuff will seep. It's a great word, that.
Alberta buys bottled water from the supermarket.
Ah.
So, but yes, I mean, you could boil it, but of course that's going to be a bit time consuming. You've got to wait for it to cool down. But it might not be that it's got bacteria in the water. It might not. It might be that there's other chemical pollutants in there that heavy metals or like lead or. I mean, you've got to be careful with tap water anyway, because if your pipes are made of lead, which they don't tend to be here in the UK anymore, but if you live in an old property, you might have a lead pipe. And the lead soldering in the copper pipes. You've got to, first thing in the morning, you've got to flush the tap out for a period of time to get rid of all the, otherwise you'll be drinking water that's got metal in it from the pipes. I think we're going to go back, I've decided, we're going to go back to filtering the water with a Brita filter.
Yes.
That's
or
it,
There
I've
are,
decided.
of course, there are other filters available on the market.
Well, aren't Brita paying us?
Well, no one pays us. We don't get any sponsorship from anyone.
I know. We should do. I don't know why we don't. We could promote products.
There are many.
And,
there are many reasons why. One, we're not sexy. I think that's the main reason. If we were very sexy, so maybe if we were very sexy ladies, then maybe lots of companies would want us to be sponsored, so they would want their products to appear. But we're not very sexy, Mr. Steve. Even though
Well, speak for yourself.
Steve thinks he's like some party animal, he isn't.
Pedro has asked a question. Thank you for the question, Pedro.
Okay.
And Pedro is asking, why don't we do that little spot at the beginning when I am in a different country?
Laziness.
Well, Pedro said maybe we didn't have enough time, which would have been a slightly better answer than laziness.
Well-
but I thought today, I say to Mr. Duncan every week, shall we do that again? And Mr. Duncan says, we haven't got time. I haven't got time today.
You were out in the garden today.
We do run out. Well, look, yeah, but if you said we were going to do that, I would have prepared something.
You would have-
Yes, we're going to bring. I want to do that again, Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Duncan.
I want to be in another country, telling people about different cultures. Yes,
This is what-
Pedro's right. We're bringing it back next week.
This is what Steve was doing today, just before we started the live stream. He was in the garden. There you are,
1:30.
Steve.
There I was. Yes.
Mr. Steve is trimming his bushes. Mr. Steve likes to trim his bush quite often.
Yes.
And there he is, looking very surprised there.
Well, I didn't know. You've got to be careful with Mr. Duncan. You don't know when he's got his camera out, filming something, he's always got his camera. So you've always got to
Right.
think, perhaps what I'm doing now, is it being filmed?
Yes. I like to sneak up behind Mr. Steve.
There we go. I thought I'd do that. So you have to be on a Sunday. I don't get much time to do any gardening because I've got to prepare the words.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, of course, it's dark by the time we finish. So
I know that's one thing that I'm still getting used to. It gets dark so early now. Oh my goodness. At 4 o'clock, it's already dark. I don't like it. Oh, I wonder what you were going to do then, Steve. Were you going to do something? Were you going to chop your head off then with the shears?
See, look at that. That's a professional at work.
Steady. You're a bit mad there. Are you okay?
No, I don't. I want to get rid of that ivy. That's ivy.
Yes.
That plant. I want to get rid of it. It's just creeping into everywhere.
Yes.
Destroying the brickwork.
You don't like ivy, do you?
No.
You find it very annoying.
Very annoying. Yes.
Very annoying.
It just gets everywhere.
It creeps around and it just gets everywhere and it becomes a real pain in the neck.
Yeah,
So
it's a real pain.
Steve doesn't like ivy whatsoever.
No.
No, you want it all to go.
That's it.
Say goodbye to ivy.
I
So
feel quite professional there. Look at my wrist action there, Mr. Duncan.
you have very good wrist action.
I do. I've always had powerful fingers.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay, there's no answer to that. So
There we go.
there is Steve in the garden this morning. Live chat is very busy.
Look at those. Do you see those leaves there? Go
No.
back to that again, Mr. Duncan.
Go back to what?
That shot you were just showing there.
Well, I
the
can't
still.
show it now.
We're getting leaves coming into our garden. I'm quite annoyed about it from next door's tree.
Okay.
Because of the prevailing winds, they all blow into our garden. They've got this giant tree right in the corner of their garden, and we get 90% of all the leaves
Okay.
from the silver birch tree. So if you're watching next door,
This.
use your
This-
garden vacuum cleaner and come round and clear them up from our garden.
Yeah, we
please.
get it, Steve. But that's not a very good way of getting along with the neighbours by complaining about them on your live stream. I'm going to be honest.
I won't say which side they are, but you've got a big silver birch tree. You moved in about a year ago, and you've got an annoying garden vacuum that makes a very loud noise. Sounds like a helicopter going overhead.
Okay, that's very good. Oh, we received something nice this week.
What was that, Mr. Duncan?
We received. Remember Sukat last week? Sukat mentioned her garden,
Oh.
and I've actually got a lovely picture. And so this is just one of them. But Sukat sent lots of photographs of her garden. So I will just put this in front of the camera. I hope this works. So we will see how well that works. So here is another picture of Sukat's garden. And there it is. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So there it
Lovely.
is, Sukat's garden. Looking very amazing. I love that. I'm. Can I just say I'm just a little bit jealous of Sukat's garden.
Well, we're still waiting for the invite.
Yes, but that is beautiful. I love a garden that has lots of trees, and that's one of the
Yes.
reasons why I like our garden, because we have quite a few trees. But the trees in our garden are not as impressive as the trees in Sukat's garden. So thank you very much, and we will take a look at the photographs later.
Excuse me, Mr. Duncan. Oh, I think I've got some leaf mould inside my nose.
Something is getting up Steve's nose.
See, I want. Sukat's obviously got a garden there with quite a lot of land,
Yeah.
which is, I secretly want a house with a lot of land. I do. One day, Mr. Duncan, when you're rich and famous.
I am neither of those things. Just to show you how famous I am not. Someone has taken me off the Wikipedia page
Yes.
for Much Wenlock. Someone has removed me, and I have a feeling I know who it is. I think it's another English teacher who has editing rights on Wikipedia. So if there is someone watching at the moment, could you please put me back? Could you put me back on Wikipedia? Because I am a well-known person here in Much Wenlock, and someone
Yes.
has removed me.
This is headline news. This is big stuff. This is.
It's big stuff.
Mr. Duncan has been removed from the Wikipedia page in Much Wenlock,
Terrible.
somebody has spitefully removed him.
Yes, I
Somebody put him in there.
Yes.
And then somebody else has gone in and spitefully removed him. So please, anybody there, do they have to be a moderator?
You have to be not a moderator. You have to have editing rights, so you can authorize the publication of something on Wikipedia. So someone out there, could you please put me back on the Much Wenlock Wikipedia page? I
Yes.
was there.
And what did it say about you?
It says I'm a well-known YouTube English teacher,
Yes.
and I live in Much Wenlock as a notable person.
Yes, so we somebody was very spiteful and removed you.
Yes.
And we don't know who it is because they've remained anonymous.
But I
Cowards.
think I know who it is. I think it might be an English teacher,
Yes.
so someone else. I tell you something, there is nothing worse than English teachers or teachers in general for being nasty to each other. So never imagine that teachers are all the best friends and they're all together having a great time. Quite often teachers can be really nasty. I remember when I was in China and they chose me to be the judge in the local English contest, and there was this woman from the United States and she was going crazy. She was shouting and screaming, saying, "How dare they give that English guy? How dare they let him be the judge? I want to be the judge. I'm American. How dare you?"
I bet it's an American English teacher's removed you.
I think it probably is.
So we're going to keep mentioning this, aren't we?
I'm going to mention
Until
it.
you're back on Wikipedia,
Bring
where
Miss-
you deserve.
Yes. Bring Mr. Duncan back to Wikipedia.
Yes.
Bring Mr. Duncan back to Wikipedia. Put him back on the Much Wenlock page.
Yes, because you are a notable person in this area. Nobody else probably in the whole country. Well, nobody has done what you've done for English
I know.
in the whole of the UK.
12 years.
12 years. I don't think there's hardly any other English teachers anyway from England.
No.
And you've been doing it for 12 years. You deserve to have an entry in Wikipedia.
I think so, on the Much Wenlock page, because
Yes.
that's where I live and lots of people know who I am. So,
Yes. Whoever it is, well, anyway, please put Mr. Duncan back, somebody. Because
Yes.
you can't do it yourself.
No, I
Somebody
can't.
else has to do it.
You can't put your own post that mentions yourself on Wikipedia. It's not allowed. So I need someone with editing rights. So a person who has a lot of points. It's very complicated, but yes, I think so. Alberto says, "Oh, yes, thank you, Alberto, for agreeing." Alberta says, "I think you must be in Much Wenlock Wikipedia after all your work and publicity about this beautiful place." I know.
Exactly.
I think so. There are thousands and thousands of people around the world that know about Much Wenlock because of me.
And how many people have visited? Because they've probably...
Yes.
I mean, how many people lots of people who watch us have said that when they come to England, they're going to visit Much Wenlock. So you're bringing money to the area.
You know what I think? I think there should be a statue in the square of me.
Mr. Duncan.
holding my big dictionary in my hand. So,
Now you're going too far.
so I've
Mr.
got
Duncan.
my hand stretched out, and in my hand there is a big dictionary. So that's what there should be. There should be a statue, and I've got my hand on my hip like that, and I'm looking at the dictionary like this. So this is what I want my statue to look like.
You don't normally get statues while you're alive.
Oh, I see.
So, you know...
That's not true, because
Not normally, though.
no, but Mo Salah, the football player, he's got a statue, and also Ronaldo. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he's a footballer. He's got a statue.
Footballers?
He's still alive. So if footballers can have a statue, I'm sure an English teacher
Exactly.
who has served the world for the past 12 years can have a little statue.
Yeah, but it's not for you to brag about yourself.
Yeah, but
It's
someone-
for others to comment and then propose something like a statue. Let's just go for the Wikipedia entry.
So please-
you know, and then maybe in another 12 years we can work up to a statue.
Okay.
You know, with small steps, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, so no statue.
One step at a time.
Okay, no statue. So please, if someone has Wikipedia publishing rights and you can approve it, put me back on the Much Wenlock Wikipedia page because I think a rival English teacher has taken me off. I think so. I get a lot of that. I used to get a lot of hate when I was in China. All the English teachers hated me because I got so much attention from other schools and the TV stations and everyone. They were very jealous of me. So, back to the live chat.
Yes.
Oh, it looks as if
going very quickly.
a lot of people agree. Yes.
And thank you for everybody saying bless you to my sneeze earlier.
Yes.
Thank you to that.
Earlier
Thank you for
on,
that.
Mr. Steve did sneeze.
I did.
So thank you very much for everyone who blessed Mr. Steve. Apparently, Mr. Steve, well, according to Mr. Steve, he is very well blessed. I don't know what that means. The envy will get them to blow up. Yes, they will become very angry. I know. Yes. Envy is a terrible emotion.
Yes.
It is destructive.
Well, if you do know who it is, maybe we can see if wherever they live that they have themselves with a place in Wikipedia, and we can have them removed.
Yes.
No, we wouldn't be so
What?
petty.
No, I wouldn't.
We wouldn't be so petty.
I
as
wouldn't do that. That's
No.
terrible. That's spiteful. That's a horrible thing to do.
Petition,
I
yes.
wouldn't lower myself to their level. I wouldn't. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Carades. Everyone's here today. Also, Tan Huyen. Also, Saturino. And also Julie. Oh, hello, Julie. I didn't see you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you. I'm very sorry about that. So,
And yes,
who removed you from Wikipedia?
don't
They must
know.
be very jealous. Thank you, GF Brum, for that. I haven't seen Jeff today. I wonder
where's Jeff?
where is Jeff?
I was only saying this morning, Jeff's always on.
You know, I think he must be tired because it's been very busy in the United States this week.
It has.
That's because we had the midterm elections.
Alberto says that envy is the national sport in Spain.
Is it?
Yes.
Really? I couldn't possibly comment on that. And I wouldn't like to either. So I believe, Steve, you have some words to show us today. And the words are dedicated to our lovely feathery friends. The birds.
The birds. The birds.
The birds, the birds.
There was a film by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Called The Birds. I think it was probably made in the 1960s. Just called The Birds. One of the scariest films I've ever seen.
I thought it was older than that.
It could well be.
I think
it might be 1950s.
I think it was the late 50s, if I'm not
Could have been,
mistaken.
but it's a very scary film, and I saw a version that they actually tend to cut some of the frightening bits from it now when you see it. But I saw an uncut version many years ago, and it was incredibly frightening. I found it very scary. Probably wouldn't be scary now, but I think I watched it probably 30 years ago.
I've never seen anyone attacked by birds ever, so I think
People do get attacked.
But what like 100 birds will attack one person? I don't think so. Birds are very friendly. They don't do things like that. So you have some phrases, some words.
Jeff is here. Look, he said he's been hiding in plain sight.
Oh, I see. There's Jeff, just to prove it. Jeff is now on the live chat. Oh, thank you, Jeff. I wasn't sure where you were.
1963, Sue Cat says. Somebody else said late 50s, but it's very scary.
I wonder
GF
I wonder what Jeff thinks about the result from the midterm election in the United States.
yes,
A lot of
very
people getting
interested,
very
yes.
angry. Did you see them fighting this week over the microphone? Did you see the reporter and Trump's press secretary? They were fighting over the microphone. They were punching each other and doing karate
I
chops.
think you better answer somebody's comment on there.
What's
well.
that?
Well, Blue Thunder keeps asking you.
Blue Thunder, can you check your email? I'm not going to show the video because you are a minor. You are underage. We did not realise that, so we can't. So there we go. That answers your
right.
question.
Okay.
The Birds is a 1963. Oh, so you were right.
I thought so. I'm always right.
The Caradas says The Birds is a 1963 American horror thriller.
Yes.
Directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
It was very scary.
But it's loosely based on a story that was published in 1952 by Daphne du Maurier, a very
How
well-known...
did you know that?
It says it on the screen.
Oh, well, I thought you just dragged that up from your memory bank somewhere.
You don't honestly think I'm that clever. Alex says, Mr. Duncan, please can you say hello to my little sister, Catherine? Today is her birthday. Hello, Alex, and hello to Catherine. Hello, Catherine. It's your birthday. Yes, today. It's your birthday. Hip, hip. Hooray. I think we should have some applause. Some applause for Catherine. Well done. Thank you very much. And Mr. Steve, you have some words
I have some words.
to do with our lovely
Feathered friends.
feathery friends.
So we'll start off with ones that are connected with birds, and then there's some others connected with wings and other parts of the bird.
Yes.
Related to sort of, birds. So here's the first one. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It's actually a proverb.
Okay.
So it's a proverb. So it's a known saying with... I wish you wouldn't do that.
Just well, it goes out of focus. So the nearer you push it, look, you see how my hand goes blurred.
Right, okay, got that, Mr. Duncan. We
There
don't
we go.
need the technical. So it's a well-known saying, but with truth behind it, really, with a sort of a proverb is a well-known saying that's got a bit of truth behind it, wouldn't you say, Mr. Duncan?
Proverb, yes, it's normally used to guide people or to give advice.
That's right, but there are lots of them in religious texts as well. So this particular one, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, is really guarding you against taking risky behaviour. It's saying that what you already have is more valuable than the possibility of having something better or greater. So you might have something, but then you want something else. But in the pursuit of that something else, which you think is better, you lose what you already have. So it's guarding you against taking too many risks, really, which in this day and age, people like to take more risks. If you like the stock market, for example, that's a very risky place. So it wouldn't be an expression you would use there. So here's an example. Be content with what you have rather than risk losing it rather than get something better. So in gambling, for example, if you were to win a bet in gambling and there was a very high chance of you losing, but you won, you might then be tempted to use that money to place another bet in the hope of getting a greater winnings.
A common mistake with gamblers.
That's it, because you don't win very often. But somebody might say to you, no, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So in other words, you've won that money. Why risk losing it all on another bet? Keep what you've got. That's what they're saying there. You might it might happen in a job as well. For example, you might have a job, a good job, but it's maybe a bit boring. You've been doing it for many years, and then you think, oh well, I'm going to go after this better job. And somebody says to you, no, bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Keep the job you've got. It's a bit like saying the grass is always greener. A bit. Would you say, Mr. Duncan? Any comments on that?
Yes, well, I think you've explained it quite well. So it's better to keep something that you've got than try to risk losing it and maybe lose everything. So gamblers will often win money, but quite often they will think, I could win some more money now if I gamble that. Well, it's better to keep the money that you've won and walk away, but it rarely happens. So a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I think so.
You've got something, and the chance of getting something else could be risky. You might lose everything.
Yes, that's it. Good. Another one.
The early bird catches the worm. The early bird catches the worm. Now, this is an interesting expression. If birds, obviously, the expression comes from an actual bird, waking up and getting the first big fat worms. What it means is that if you get somewhere early or before everybody else, then you're going to get more reward. So this is where you're going to get the best deal or the best picking. So this expression is used really when there is competition for something. So, for example, if there's a sale at your local department store,
Okay.
and there's all these lovely things for sale, but you don't, and the store opens at 9 o'clock, but you don't turn up till 11, then you might miss the chance because there'll be lots of other people after these bargains. So someone could say to you, well, if you want to get that TV that's on discount, get there early. The early bird catches the worm, because if you get there late, someone else would have got it,
Yes.
got there before you.
So always be the first. Always be the first person. It's a bit like on the live chat. So when the live chat comes on, a lot of people say, I want to be first on the live chat. Well, I always say the early bird catches the worm. You have to be in there quickly and also ahead of everyone else. You have to make sure that you are very quick when you are clicking.
This expression, I had a boss in a previous job many years ago. I had a boss. I was in sales. Well, I'm still in sales, salesperson, and there were lots of other companies trying to see these same customers. And a lot of the customers. So my boss used to say to me, "The early bird catches the worm." So you get to that customer first before a rival company, and you will have a chance of selling your goods to that person, because he won't want to see 4 people, or he might only want to see 1 person. And if you get there first, you're going to be the one to have the chance to sell your goods to him. He was Scottish, but he used to pronounce the worm as worm. The early bird catches the worm, he used to say, because that's how Scottish people pronounce. Well, he from the part of Scotland he was from.
I've noticed.
I always remember him saying that to me. Get up early and get to those customer doors, put your card in, and you'll be there before any of the other sales representatives, and they'll see you, and you'll be able to sell your business.
So the early bird catches the worm.
That's it. Quite often, it's always better to get there first.
I like that one. Good.
Where there's a bit of competition for something.
So we are talking about words, idioms, expressions connected to birds.
There we go. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or kill 2 birds with 1 shot is another way you can use that expression. It means to accomplish 2 different things at the same time, achieve 2 things with a single action.
Okay.
Which can often be a time-saving factor. So, for example, I need to visit Mum later on, but on the way back, I will do the food shopping and kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
So you're not literally killing with stones. You're not going to throw some rocks at your mum.
No, that's it. What it means is that, say, for example, you were shooting birds for sport or for food, and you fired 1 shot, but it happened to kill 2 birds at the same time.
Yes.
That's so you've achieved 2 things with 1 action. So you haven't wasted effort. So you might want to go and visit your mother, and it might be quite a long way away, but that's a long way to go just for that 1 thing. Takes a lot of time, so why not do something else while you're there? Do some shopping,
Yes.
or get something you want at the same time. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So you're not wasting time.
That's it. It's also expressing a very good use of time. So you're doing 1 thing, but at the same time or during the journey there or back, you will do something else. So
Yes.
you are using the time very efficiently.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I like that one. That's very good.
Here's another one. A little bird told me. A little bird told me. So you use this expression when you want to hide the source of some secret information. So you've heard some interesting news or gossip, and then you want to tell somebody about it, and it's usually about the person you're going to speak to. And instead of saying, "Oh, Bob told me you're getting married next week," you can say, "Oh, a little bird told me you're getting married."
Oh.
A little bird told me. So you mean somebody told you, but you don't want to reveal who it was.
Wow.
So it's a secret. A little bird told me, Mr. Duncan, that it's your birthday in August.
Yes. Next year.
And it might be something that you perhaps feel a little slightly embarrassed about asking, or you think might upset them a little. And then they might say, oh, who told you that? And you go, no, I'm not telling you, a little bird. But eventually you might tell them. But you say it in a sort of light-hearted way, don't you, to somebody?
Yes, I think so.
A little bird told me that you might be making some new lessons, Mr. Duncan. See, actually, nobody told me, but you can actually say that when nobody told you anything. You can use it as a way of pretending somebody told you something to try and find out some information. So I might think that you're seeing somebody at work, for example, but you're not entirely sure. And in fact, nobody's told you. And you go to them and say, oh, little bird's told me that you and Sarah are going out together. You don't actually know. And he says, what are you talking about? No, we're not. Or he gets all embarrassed. And, nobody's actually told you, but you're using that expression to actually find out some information. So you can use it when you do know information and even when you don't. So a little bird told me. Birds of a feather.
Yes.
Birds of a feather.
That's also an expression.
Birds of a feather stick together.
Mm-hmm.
And that just refers to people, like-minded people, tend to congregate, tend to navigate together. So people with the same way of thinking, the same outlook on life, same political leanings.
Things in common.
People tend to somehow end up together in a group, in a pub or somewhere like that. You might say, look at those people over there. They're all lawyers or they're all teachers. Birds of a feather flock together. It just refers to the fact that people quite often will congregate or associate with people that are like-minded.
Going back to that previous one, Legia Oliver says, here in Brazil we say kill 2 rabbits with one stone.
Right, okay, brilliant. That's the same thing.
So it sounds like the same thing. So you throw 1 stone and you kill 2 rabbits.
And well done, Rungsak. I'm going to come to your expression there as well.
Ah, yes.
Very good.
If you are under someone's wing.
Yes, I'm coming to that one.
Yes.
In a minute. Oh, well, I'll do it now, shall I?
Shirablade says, everybody's heard about the bird. Na 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 na. The bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. Bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Famously parodied in Family Guy.
I can't stop doing it now. Na 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 na. Bird. Bird is the word.
So is that an actual song, or was it just parodied in?
It is, of course, a song from the 60s.
Oh right.
Bird. Bird is the word. Bird.
Bird and the Bees. Yes, Bird and the Bees.
Birds.
Birds and the Bees.
Yes,
so that if you say to somebody, you're going to tell them about the birds and the bees, it means you're going to tell them about sex and reproduction. It's a way of saying, of being sort of indirect about what you want to tell somebody about a subject which is, a little embarrassing perhaps.
Normally when you're going to explain how mummy and daddy got together and they fell in love and then you popped out of your mummy. And then they will explain how it happened by explaining the birds and the bees.
Alex has said nothing about birds, but what about this? The world is my oyster. What does it mean?
If the world is your oyster, it means the world is there for you to take, for you to have. So everything out there is yours. If you want it, it is there. So maybe we are talking, opportunity. So there are lots of opportunities out there. You might say to someone who is trying to, maybe they've left university and they have qualifications, and you might say, well, whatever you want to do, Go out there because the world is your oyster. There
Means
are
there's opportunities there for everybody.
lots of opportunity.
Huge world of opportunity.
Lots of opportunities, lots of chances. The world is your oyster. I like that.
Right. And Pedro has asked, what does minimum wage? What means minimum wage?
The minimum wage normally is a legal term. It actually expresses the minimal amount or the smallest amount that a person can be paid per hour for doing a job
Legally.
legally. So it's it's something that is set in stone. It is legal. So that is the legal limit. You can't pay someone less than that. You have to pay them the legal wage or the minimum wage or, of course, more than the minimum wage.
I think what's the minimum wage in the UK? So I think it's around £10 an hour or something, isn't it? Is it that much? Or £8?
I don't think it's that much, Steve.
Well, I think it's maybe £8 an hour then is the
Yes,
minimum
I think it's about maybe £7 or £8 an hour.
Maybe somebody can. It used to be. I think it's gone up a bit.
Yes.
But so if you employ somebody in the UK and you want to pay them, you can't pay them any less than that.
Yes, because
otherwise you'll be get into trouble.
Yes, we recently had a budget. So we had the budget recently. So all of these things changed slightly. But I'm not sure what the minimum wage in the UK is. But I don't think it's £10. I wish it was.
Yes, it is. It's designed to protect people so that they can't be exploited
That's it.
by their employers.
And of course, so they can afford to live.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So another one. Shall we have another word to do with the bird? Because the bird is the
A
word.
feather in your cap, or a feather in your cap. It means a notable achievement. A notable achievement, that something that you've achieved, which is notable and worth mentioning. And it symbolises sort of honour or integrity. Some cultures, hundreds of years ago, if you achieved something in the battlefield, then they'd put a feather in your cap. And the more feathers you had, the more successful you were, or the braver you were. It just means you've achieved something. So Bob scored the winning goal for his team, and that was a feather in his cap. Julie completed the important work project ahead of time. Her boss said it was a feather in her cap.
There's always a work project.
There's always a work project. So you achieve something notable, and somebody will say, oh, that's a feather in your cap. In other words, it's helping to advance yourself, advance your career in some way. People take note of it. So you've done something special, something maybe out of the ordinary, or achieved something that other people haven't achieved. And you can say, oh, that's a feather in my cap, or that's a feather in their cap. We could put feathers in yours, Mr. Duncan, for every year that you've been on YouTube.
I could have 12 feathers
12 feathers.
in my cap.
Exactly.
Do you like my cap? It's a new one. It's my new cap.
Yes.
My old one is falling to pieces. So this is actually a new cap. Ooh.
Another one.
Why not?
Sitting duck. A sitting duck. Obviously, a duck is a bird. Sitting duck just means an easy target. So it refers to ducks. Say you were shooting birds, and it refers to the fact that a bird that's in flight is more difficult to kill than one that is sitting down doing nothing. So if you've got ducks sitting in a lake, they're easier to kill than if they're flying, because they're obviously a moving target then.
Bye, Lena. Bye, Lena.
So it means literally to be in a vulnerable position. You could be attacked either verbally. Normally, what we mean by it in everyday life is not literally shooting somebody or killing somebody, or literally being attacked. It's usually used metaphorically, really. But you could say that in a war situation, that if you found yourself in a vulnerable position with the enemy, in open ground, for example, you could say that you were a sitting duck and you could be shot by the other side, by you know, that's what that means, really.
We've just had Matrix has said the minimum wage in the UK for 25s and over is £7.83.
£7.83.
I wasn't far off.
Right.
I said about £8. So yes, I didn't think it was 10. Maybe 5 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, it might be £10.
Celine says that a little bird says to me in France, they say my little finger says to me that.
So like that.
Yes, my little finger says to me. Yeah, that's lame duck. Rung sack. That's at least the third one you've come up with today.
Yeah.
Lame duck.
Lame duck was one of my first ever mystery idioms.
Was it?
Yes, it was one of the first ever mystery idioms. Talking of which,
So we need to explain that, don't we?
we have a mystery idiom today. So there it is for those who are interested. And I gave the answer earlier because last week's. Because I forgot, didn't I? I forgot to
You
give
did.
it. Yeah, so naughty Mr. Duncan. Naughty, slappy, slappy on the handy. Slappy, slappy on the bottom. I think so. Another one?
Lame duck. Ugly duck. An ugly duck, yes, that's just somebody who's not very attractive.
Lame duck is something that is useless or pointless. So something that serves no purpose. They are supposed to be useful, but they're not. They're just completely useless. So lame duck.
So like a lame duck president.
Yes, so some people described Barack Obama. Can you believe it? Some people described him as a lame duck president.
So he was in charge, the main person, but was ineffective in achieving anything because his hands were tied by all sorts of things going on. I don't
That's
know
it.
exactly what, but yes, it's you're in a position of power, but you can't exercise that power.
That's it. You achieve nothing.
You don't actually achieve anything. Right, okay.
So another one.
Sitting duck. Oh, we've had that one already, haven't we? I was just, somebody who's in a vulnerable position.
That's it.
Say, for example, you could be paintballing, couldn't you, as well? And you could find yourself in an exposed position and everybody fires at you and you could say you're a sitting duck,
You are
an easy target.
An easy target.
But somebody who is tricked or swindled, and there are a lot of unscrupulous people at the moment trying to get hold of your bank details by scamming you, by phoning up and pretending to be the police or your bank and then asking you to give all your bank details to them. They would say that you were a sitting duck because you were probably elderly, vulnerable, didn't know what was going on. A trickster like that would say that you were a sitting duck, an easy target.
Yes.
Somebody who was easily scammed or easily manipulated
So you-
or swindled
You
out
might
of something.
say like an elderly person
Yes.
who lives alone.
That's right. So that's sitting duck.
Very good. Thank you very much, Steve. Another one?
Get into a flap. Get into a flap. If you get into a flap, if you see pigeons or birds getting all excited and upset, they flap their wings around excitedly, and that expression is used to mean a person who is getting themselves too upset over something. What are you waving at, Mr. Duncan?
I'm waving to Pedro because we are losing our moderator, one of them. Pedro's going. Bye,
Is he?
Bye, Pedro. He has his special appointment.
Oh, well, we
Yeah.
want to know more about that, Pedro.
Yes. So Pedro is
Bye-bye
going.
for now.
Bye, Pedro.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Get into a flap. Somebody who gets too upset about something, probably a bit over the top, and goes all upset and starts waving their arms around and starts crying and over something quite minor, a bit like a bird that suddenly flaps its wings everywhere. So you can say to somebody, "Oh, don't get into such a flap. It's nothing." Isn't that right, Mr. Duncan?
Get into a flap. Get into a state.
Get into a state of upset.
Overreact.
Overreact to something.
You get into a flap. A fluster.
Yes, it would be similar to a bird that was getting upset as well and flapping its wings around. Do you want another one?
Yes, let's go through them.
How about this one? Lovey-dovey.
Oh,
Lovey-dovey.
I see what you've done there.
That's it. This is an expression. It's got a dovey in it, which is obviously a bird, a dove.
Dove, you see. Let me just see if I can do that. So there we go. See? Dove.
Dove. So it means an open display of affection in public, really, which of course you see with doves
Yes.
and pigeons. You see doves. They're sitting on a fence together, and the one's rubbing its neck up against the other one, or they're cooing and billing together, and displaying emotion openly. Often in public. If somebody's lovey-dovey, it's sort of smulchy, sort of sentimental, being very affectionate towards somebody, but often doing it in a public way. So sometimes you could be sitting in a restaurant and having a meal, and then there's a couple in the corner overtly being lovey-dovey. They're showing their affection, always kissing all the time, holding hands, gazing into each other's eyes, and it's almost unnecessary. But you would describe that as somebody being lovey-dovey, basically being like a couple of doves,
Yes.
and openly sort of being affectionate towards each other.
That's nice.
Pedro's going to prepare his lunch.
Yes. Oh, so now we know what Pedro is doing today. He's off to prepare his lunch.
He's having chips. Looks like ice cream and some. What's that? A cup of coffee or a
That looks like
gravy boat?
I think it's ice cream, a donut, and some fries.
Oh well, I'm jealous.
I know. Is that really what you're having to eat, Pedro?
Jeff, there's a good one.
What's
Mr.
that?
Duncan needs to eat like a bird with his diet.
Here we go.
Oh yes. You need to eat like a bird, which means eat small amounts.
It's
But in
time.
fact, actually, birds eat huge amounts, so I don't know where that expression comes
Yes,
from.
they have to eat like 10 or 20 times their own weight every day
Yes.
just to stay alive.
Yes.
So maybe eating like a bird isn't a good idea because they eat lots, and normally they eat lots of fatty things with lots of energy. So maybe I shouldn't eat like a bird. I should do the opposite.
But that is an expression that means to eat small amounts.
Mm.
We often say that about people who pick at their food and don't eat very much. Oh, you eat like a bird.
You know, I was getting into trouble earlier.
Why?
Now we're not showing Blue Thunder's video because there are restrictions that YouTube has with showing people under a certain age on live streams or in videos. So that's the reason why we're doing it. It's nothing to do with me. It's to do with YouTube and their stupid rules.
So sorry, Blue Thunder, we can't show you video.
It's not because of us. We have to take this very seriously because we are professional broadcasters, even though sometimes it doesn't look like it. But we have to observe the rules of YouTube. So I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for 12 years, and there are lots of rules concerning YouTube. So that's the reason why.
Sorry, Blue Thunder. We don't. I haven't seen the video. Have you seen the video?
I haven't seen it.
Oh right, but you can't show it because. Oh
Well-
yeah, we can't show videos of people under a certain age.
That's it.
Unfortunately.
Yes, it's all restrictions of YouTube. Nothing to me. Nothing to do with me.
There you go. What is the age?
I think you'll find it's. I want to say 18, but I think it's actually 16.
16.
Yeah, so it's
And
just.
we know Blue Thunder's 12.
Yes. Let's not start that again, shall we? 13.
13. So unfortunately, we can't show a video. You could show one of yourself somewhere, but we can't show it.
Okay.
I think have we explained that? I think we have.
Well, yes, I've just explained it quite clearly.
So we're not being nasty. We can't show it.
It's not because of us. It's because of YouTube. It's their rules, you see. So if I do that, I'm breaking YouTube's rules, and then YouTube can take me away, which I'm sure some people would love.
No, they wouldn't, Mr. Duncan. Well, maybe the person that took you out of Wikipedia.
Yes, there's one,
Maybe
and
they
I have a nemesis.
Yes.
Nemesis. I have a rival, an arch rival. Someone is trying to destroy me by taking my Wikipedia entry away from the Much Wenlock page.
So please carry on making comments on the live stream, Blue Thunder. We can certainly see those and reply to those, and to obviously to anybody else's as well.
That's it.
Do you want me to show? I've got 2 more left, Mr. Duncan.
That's okay, no problem. Don't worry about the time. If we run out of things to talk about, we'll just leave.
Fledgling. Fledgling.
Oh,
So a fledgling bird is a baby bird, one that has just come out of the nest and is looking around, wondering what this world is all about, trying to learn how to fly. A fledgling bird, so something new to the world. But you can use that expression in everyday language to mean, for example, a new business or a new industry, a fledgling industry. So you could say, in a way, when computers were being invented, IT systems, that was a fledgling industry, a new industry, building computers. Not anymore, of course; it's established. But you could maybe say a company that's making electric cars is a fledgling company.
so something starting out,
Something starting out.
beginning, something new, a business that's just starting, something that's just in its early stages.
Its early stages. So when you first started making videos on YouTube, you could say that was a fledgling business, a fledgling something new,
Yes.
something that's never been done before.
When I launched my Hat for Rent Productions in 2010,
Yes.
yes, and I created the name in 2006. Can you believe it? So yes, but officially we started doing this properly, almost professionally, if you will, in 2010. But in total, we've been doing it for 12 years. I can't believe that.
Well, you have. I've only been doing it for 2, with you,
Well,
helping you
But
out.
you were on 10 years ago.
That's true. I
You
was.
keep forgetting.
Yes. Yes. So a new business or a new anything that's starting up, really. Take under your wing.
Oh.
Take under your wing. If you take somebody under your wing, it means that you're training them. You're an expert in something and you're training them. So it's tutoring somebody or training them closely on a personal one-to-one level. So, for example, Julie is our new trainee accountant, and I want you to take her under your wing. So Julie's being assigned to this expert. Somebody thinks he's very good in the job, and the boss has said, right, you take her under your wing. So you look after her, nurture her, encourage her talents, and it's like one-to-one. So it's somebody special. You want them to be successful. If you start on a new job, often you will be assigned a mentor, and you could say that you're being taken under their wing. They're giving you some personal tuition in something to take under your wing. It's just like the wing of a bird,
Yes.
protecting you, looking
Yes.
after you.
Well, literally, in nature, that's what the bird will do. An adult bird will protect their young by literally putting their wings over the birds.
Yes.
So it is actually a literal thing in nature. So you will see birds will protect their young by putting their wings over them.
And when you're taking somebody under your wing, they're new, they're green. If somebody's new in a job and they haven't got much experience, you often say they're green. And they'll want protecting because something might go wrong, and they'll want somebody there to protect them
Yes,
and help them through the difficult parts of
it.
the job.
that's it. Francesca. Oh, hello, Francesca. Where is this place? Do you mean this place? Well, this place that you are looking at now is where we are, and this is a live view outside. So there it is. That's outside the window. It's a beautiful day, Steve. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how nice it is.
It's a lovely day.
It's very autumnal.
Very. The
Chilly.
leaves have really turned. It's a nice, sharp sunlight, very bright, very fresh
Yes.
outside.
Yes, cold. It's not warm, not as warm as it has been, but it really does look very autumnal.
We use the word fresh to mean that it's the air is quite clear. It doesn't feel muggy or humid. It's not terribly cold, but it's not that warm either. It's fresh. There's a bit of a wind blowing. It just feels fresh.
Yes, and this is a Sunday afternoon, and we are actually live from a place called Much Wenlock.
Live from Much Wenlock in England on a Sunday afternoon. This is Live English.
We certainly are. Oh, the bird is the word, bird is the word, bird is the word. We're talking about bird words today.
Well, I haven't got any more. That's it.
That's okay, yeah, but we were talking about it, weren't we?
We were.
There is another one, actually,
Oh, yes.
to do with a beak. So birds eat with their beak. And when they eat, they peck. And there is an expression in English called pecking order. Pecking order. So this is actually an expression that we use in English, and it means the order that things come in, normally based on their status or their position, maybe in a company, or maybe how much authority they have. So the pecking order is a particular order of something, maybe in a company. So the pecking order will be from the boss right down to the person who cleans the floors after everyone has gone home. So the pecking order, the order
Order of importance, of influence, of power.
Yes.
But quite often as well, it doesn't have to be literally the managing director down to the office managers, down to the cleaner. It can be you've got a group of people in an office all doing the same job. They might all be on the phones, or they might all have their own little cubicles, all doing the same job. But some of them have been there a bit longer than others. Some of them seem to have the boss's ear, and there might be a pecking order within a group of people who are all doing the same job, mightn't there? So, for example, if you're in sales, could be 30 people in your company who are doing the same job in sales, but the pecking order, some of them are ranked higher than others because they've perhaps been there a long time, they've had more success, and they're seen as in status as being above others. So it doesn't have to be just literally the order in terms of what your job is. It could be the order within a group of people all doing the same job.
Here's another one. If something is annoying, if something gets on your nerves, if something drives you crazy and you want it to go away, or something that you find infuriating, you can say that it sticks in your craw. Craw.
Okay.
And a craw is like the thing that a bird grabs with, the craw. So it really sticks in my craw.
It's annoying.
Yes, something that's annoying.
Can't get rid of it.
I know,
It's like
something that
like
won't,
a bird grabbing hold of something.
something that won't go away. Mr. Duncan.
I've got another one. Can I just, you use the word pecking, but if you
Oh, okay.
if you peck somebody, if you give somebody a peck, it means you give them a kiss.
Oh,
a short little kiss.
Yes.
Give somebody a peck, you just give them a quick little kiss, a peck on the cheek. It means you give them a little kiss on the cheek or on the lips. A peck. It's not a full-on mouth-to-mouth, tongues down the throat kiss. It's just a little peck.
I was going to kiss Mr. Steve on his head then.
Just like a bird just pecking something. Just a
can't-
short, sharp, affectionate kiss.
I can't. You
Not
see.
on air.
We'll get
Not on air.
We'll get complaints.
We'll get Jeff all excited.
I don't want Jeff.
joking.
I don't want Jeff to get too excited. The sight of me kissing Mr. Steve on his head might get too many people very excited.
There's another expression. There's a bird called a coot.
Really?
There's a particular type of bird called a coot, which doesn't have it looks like it hasn't got any feathers on the top of its head. I don't know whether it actually hasn't got any. I think it looks like it hasn't got any feathers.
Is that how you spell it? Is it C-O-O-T?
I'm not sure. Here we go again. We've probably got that wrong. So if you say that man is as bald as a coot, then it's like me. He hasn't got any hair on his head.
Bald.
Just like the bird itself. I think the bird itself has got feathers, but because they're a different colour, it looks than the rest of the feathers. It looks like it's bald. I don't think it actually is. Hasn't got any feathers.
So
it looks like it is.
So it's because there is a bird called a coot.
A bird called a coot, bald as a coot, somebody who is very bald.
You can also call
Me, in other words.
If you want to insult an old person, you can also say an old coot.
Or an old bird.
Yes.
Yes, if you say, oh, look at that old bird, it refers to usually a female elderly person who looks like they've lived life a bit.
Ah,
might be.
Farah. Thank you, Farah. To spread your wings.
Yes.
To go out into the world.
Thank you very much.
To go out into the world to explore what is on offer in the world. I like that. To spread your wings and fly away.
Just like a bird would. So once you've fledged the nest and you've discovered a few little things about life and what to do, you get to the age of 18, you leave home, and those restrictions are gone. You spread your wings, you fly off, and then the world is your oyster. Mm-hmm. And then off you go.
Very
I'm
good.
going to write these down because I keep all these. So what we've had there, spread your wings.
Oh, shall we do it afterwards?
Spread your wings. We could do it afterwards, but I'm doing it now.
It doesn't seem very exciting watching Mr. Steve write things down.
That's for 2 years' time when we come back to this subject again, and I've got them all ready.
But the big question is, did I spell coot right?
I don't know.
Is that right? Is that right? Did I really spell that right? C-O-O-T. Sure that's how you spell coot.
Glad you put a T on the end.
Pretty
there.
sure that's how you spell coot.
Oh yes, coots. Carides says are small water birds that are members of a particular family of
Yes,
birds.
the railday or railday.
But they look like they haven't got any feathers on their head.
That's it.
And people often describe me as being bald as a coot.
Good. I'm glad I spelt it right.
Matrix says you did, so that's good.
Thank you very much, Matrix. Thank you for your approval there. I got a thumbs up there from Matrix. That's good. So, are there any others you can think of?
No, I can't think of anything. I can't think of any others. So let's think if we've got wings. Take somebody under your wings.
There's a very obvious one.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Oh, we've had that one.
You've done that one.
I've done that one.
Are you
already.
okay? You're not losing your memory again.
I'm getting tired. You know, I get tired towards the end of the live streams, Mr. Duncan, because he makes me stand all the time now.
It's always the last 15 minutes, Mr. Steve starts to get very tired.
I need a shot of something to keep me going.
Yes. There's no answer to that. But of course, in the olden days...
Blue Thunder's back.
Remember...
Go on.
Remember back in the 1970s or the 60s when you saw an attractive woman and you said,
yes.
"Oh, I wouldn't mind talking to that bird."
Yes, women were often described as birds. I'm going out tonight to chat up a bird.
Who was that bird I saw you with the other night?
We don't tend to use that anymore.
Yes, it's become a little politically incorrect.
Yes, to describe a woman as a bird is yes, but men used to say that. Oh, I'm going out with my bird later.
Yes, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to see me bird.
I can't see you down the pub. I can't see my mates down the pub tonight because I'm taking my bird out to watch a film. Yeah, I think actually it is still used amongst more older generations.
Older people.
Would do that.
Sorry, when are elderly people saying bird? Hello, my granddad said that he's seeing his bird tonight. I don't think elderly people use the word
I wouldn't say
bird.
elder. I think sort of people of an older generations would use that phrase.
Okay, for example.
When I grew up, well, people of my age.
Your
would probably
age,
use
okay
it.
then. Wow, whew, that is old. Oh, of course, you could also say chick. You can also say chick.
Yes.
So yes, oh, she's a cute chick. Yes, who was that chick I saw you with last night? I think that tends to be used, or it used to be used more in American English. So maybe in the United States it was chick, and over here we would say bird. But nowadays, of course, because everything is so sensitive, everyone is very sensitive. So we can't describe a lady or a woman as a bird or a chick anymore. It's forbidden.
Of course, it was used to mean something attractive.
Yes.
Something attractive.
So it's actually a compliment.
Yes, it used to be. What does Farah has said? What does I think we've got somebody new, Ricardo.
Oh, let's have a look.
On Belarusia is welcoming somebody.
Let me just press the button.
Somebody called Ricardo. So maybe Ricardo is new to the live stream.
Ricardo Cardozo, welcome to the live chat. We are here for a few more minutes and then we are going. Don't forget, we are here, just to remind you, every Sunday. Every Sunday we are here live as live can be from 2 p.m. UK time. For those who can't remember, 2 p.m. every Sunday. And also you can donate if you would like to see this continue. You can donate via PayPal, and there is the address down there. You can see it going by right now.
Farah has made an interesting comment.
Okay.
What does it mean, the chicken and the egg situation?
Well, that is what we call a paradox.
Yes, a conundrum.
A paradox is something that has no answer. Now, some people believe that they do have the answer, and they say that the egg came first before the bird or the chicken. So it is a kind of paradox. It is the thing that cannot really be answered, because to have an egg, you have to have the chicken. But to have the chicken, you have to have the egg. But to have the egg, you have to have the chicken.
So
But
which
to
came
have-
first?
Yes, so it is what we call a paradox.
I think the answer is that there never was a chicken, just didn't appear out of nowhere, and the egg just didn't appear out of nowhere. They just evolved over time, and now we have a chicken
Yes.
and an egg. But probably millions of years ago, it was something different.
So maybe many hundreds of thousands of years ago, or millions of years ago, maybe the bird used to just fall out and there was no egg. So you see?
No, I think eggs came first.
Yes, so that's it. No, I'm just saying that's it. So that's one of the theories. So maybe that came first. But there are lots of animals that are born from an egg. Snakes.
Turtles.
Aren't they born from eggs?
Yes, definitely. Oh, yes,
Yes.
very much so. Yes,
Very
yes.
unusual. And
Turtles
turtles.
lay their eggs.
Yes, so there are lots and lots of animals other than...
Chickens, all birds, of course, come
Yes.
from eggs.
Yes. So
Dinosaurs. Well, that's an interesting point. Dinosaurs.
yeah.
They assume, because their birds are related to dinosaurs, they assume that I don't know enough about this subject, but they assume that all dinosaurs came from eggs. But
Well-
in fact, I think they probably think that there were, there could have been some hot-blooded dinosaurs around, which could have given birth to live babies. But I don't know. We don't really know the answer to
Well, don't forget David Attenborough, the famous naturalist. He found an egg many years ago, and they pieced it. They were able to put it back together, and they formed it back into its original shape. And it's huge. And apparently that is supposed to be a dinosaur egg, or from the very early animals that walked on the planet.
Back to the live chat, Mr. Duncan.
Shall we go back to the live chat? Yay!
Because we haven't got many minutes left.
We've got
and I'm
6.
going to, as usual, make you a tea cake
We're having a tea
and a
cake.
cup of tea after. Shall I go and fetch the tea cakes?
But there is bad news.
What?
There is bad news,
We're out of
Steve.
butter.
No, we have no salmon.
That's true. We've got no
Tonight-
salmon for tonight.
Tonight we have no fresh salmon because Steve forgot to buy it.
Matrix says, do you believe in evolution? Well, evolution isn't something you need to believe in or not believe in.
Evolution isn't a religion.
Evolution is pretty much, I think, every scientist that's ever lived or commented will say that evolution is fact. It's not something you believe in. It is fact. It can be proved and has been proved many, many times to have actually taken place. So, yes, evolution is a fact.
Yes, there are many
you don't
people
have to believe in it or not.
Yes.
It is a fact.
Yes, there are many people over the years that have talked about evolution, not just now, but maybe 100, 200. Of course, you have Charles Darwin, who is seen as the father of the theory of evolution. Theory, a lot of people think that theory means it's not true or it's only imagined, but theory can also mean something that's put down on paper to show, and it can be proven. So you can prove a theory. So the theory of evolution has, as you just said, been proved by the fact that there are bones bigger than this room that have been found, and we know that there aren't any animals around that have those big bones. So we know, and also we can tell that they lived millions of years ago. So there you go.
Yes, that doesn't mean, you see, that if Caridas is coming from the point of view of, I think it was Caridas that said that, was it? Or Matrix, was it? I can't remember now. Whether you, I mean, you can still be somebody that believes in God and believe in evolution. There are a lot of scientists who know that evolution took place. That's been proven or proven. But you could say, if you were a religious person, that God started it all off, and then evolution took over from there,
Yes,
or God had a hand in evolution. So you can still believe that if you want to.
I suppose the problem is,
Believe
though,
both.
I suppose the problem in some religions, they believe that the Earth is only 600 years old.
Yes, is it 600 or is it 6,000?
No, six.
Yeah,
Well, even
let's not get into that.
even 6,000 years.
But
Did I say 600? 6,000 years old.
Yes.
So of course we know dinosaurs weren't around 6,000 years ago.
Rungsack has lots of salmon in the fridge. So can you send us some, please? We need it probably in about 3 hours' time.
Yes. Is it frozen?
Amazon's usually quite quick at delivering. Can we get an Amazon delivery from Rungsack's house?
I don't think it's that
and
quick.
get the Amazon to get the Amazon to us, get salmon to us by about 7 o'clock tonight, which is when I usually start. No scones, Caridas. No, we've just got tea cakes tonight.
Yes, a couple of 100 years ago, you see, Charles Darwin. And when he first introduced his theory of evolution, he was... Sorry? What?
Yes, go on.
Oh. When he first introduced his theory of evolution, a lot of people were sceptical, and they saw him as being a person who was maybe possessed, anti-religious or evil, or even working for the devil. So, yes, it's strange how these things have changed.
Well, I think he was quite a religious person.
Well, that's the irony.
He wasn't, I don't know enough about his life.
I feel that you're straying
into areas that we don't know very much about.
Steve is straying and also talking all over me.
I mean, I did, of course, learn all about that when I was at college, but yes. Anyway.
You went to college to study evolution.
Well, I studied it because I studied biological sciences, so
I see.
obviously evolution came into that.
You've forgotten all about that then?
Well, I haven't forgotten about it, but I've forgotten the details of Darwin's life and what he actually believed in. I don't think I really ever knew that.
Pashia asks, how often do you do the live stream? I did mention it just. I will show you again. The live English stream is every Sunday. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. UK time. So now we should all know.
Survival of the fittest, that's true. That's at the heart of evolution, I believe.
Yes, well, the survival of the fittest is everything.
The fittest survive, and then they go on to reproduce. And then if they've got some little bit about them that gives them an advantage over some other animal, then they will survive over the other. It could be something very minor.
Yes.
So you've got something that makes you good at being an English teacher. And if you had children, they would evolve into something more spectacular
Well,
than you are currently today.
Can I just say that there are no children on the way for Mr. Duncan?
Maybe you've got some lurking away in China, perhaps. We don't know about.
I'm very sure of that.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you how I know, but I'm very sure that I haven't.
Are there any very tall Chinese people in China that are wearing glasses? Perhaps they're your children, Mr. Duncan.
Let's have a look at today's mystery idiom. We're going.
Tomek, drop the ball. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Let's have a look at today's mystery idiom, and we'll give you the answer because we are going in 70 seconds.
How many people got it right?
I don't know.
Well, Tomek has.
I thought you were making a record of that.
No.
Well done to all those who got it right. The answer is drop the ball. Quite a few people got the answer right as Mr. Steve yawns. Are you
tired?
Are you tired?
I'm doing all that gardening, Mr. Duncan.
The meaning of drop the ball is... Go on, Steve.
Oh, right. To make a mistake or get something wrong. To mishandle something is to drop the ball. A foolish mistake can be described as dropping the ball.
So if you drop the ball, it means you make a terrible error or you make a mistake. I think we mentioned that last week, you know. I'm sure we mentioned that last week. So that's
Yes,
it.
You could be at work and then you drop the ball on something. It means that you lose focus on something that you're doing and then it goes wrong.
That's it. Just like we just said. Can I say thank you once again to our... Can I say thank you once again to our lovely donators on Patreon? I don't mention them enough. And they are very lovely people because they regularly make donations every month.
Which is a great help to you because then you always know you've got a certain amount of income that you can help to upgrade equipment and things like that.
That's it. So thank you very much to all my lovely Patreon supporters. And you know who you are because I just put your names on the screen. That's it, Steve. We'll have one last look at the live chat and then we are going.
Goodbye, Martha.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Tomek.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
Blue Thunder.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
Tomek.
Rosa.
Thank you, Martha.
We know a Martha who's in hospital at the moment.
Farah. Thank you, Farah. Thank you also to Erika. Have you ever tried salty...
Look.
Sorry?
Go on.
Just wait until I finish talking. Have you ever tried salty smoked salmon? I'm not keen on salty fish. I don't like fish that's too salty.
Oh, there's a type of fish called saltfish.
Oh, I see.
Which some friends of mine who were from French Guiana
Ugh.
used to cook. And it is just how it sounds. It is very salty fish. I hated it.
No.
Somebody's just said, are you going to put another grammar lesson on Wednesday?
No.
Don't forget to put them on.
No more grammar lessons. I have axed them. They are no more because no one's watching them. So there we go. How's that?
Not enough people, you mean?
Well, not many people are watching them. That's really what I just said, wasn't it?
Wow.
No one's watching them. Not many people. It takes me about 3 days to make them, and then no one watches them. So that's
Asmo's watching them.
yes. Okay. Do you really want me to go into this now? Do you really want me to talk about
Apologies, Mr. Duncan isn't making any more grammar lessons because
Yes. No one's
he's
watching
making
them.
and not enough people are watching
Yes.
them around the world.
Yes.
All
Yes.
your loyal people here, for example, are watching them, so we thank you
Yes.
very much for that.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they haven't broken out into the wide world.
Unfortunately, I haven't got big breasts. That's the problem, apparently. 80% of YouTube viewers are men.
Right.
And they all want to see sexy ladies. They don't want to see two old...
That's it. I'm going to have a sex change, Mr. Duncan.
They don't want to see two old coots.
I'm going to have, yes, 2 old coots, 2 old birds. I'm going to have a sex change, Mr. Duncan, in order to increase your ratings.
I thought you had.
So I'm going to have a sex change and grow some large breasts, put a wig on, lipstick, and then we'll get more viewers.
Yes. So basically, there are no more grammar lessons for those who... That's it, you see. There it is. How's your grammar? There are no more of those because no one wanted to watch them. It's terrible. So
You
there we
mean
go.
outside the people that are watching now that have watched
Well,
them?
outside the 70 or 80 people that follow me regularly.
That's not it. Right, love. It's gone 4 o'clock, Mr. Duncan.
See, I've got to have. See, I've got to be sexy and have, and if I'm sexy and I look at the camera like this, ooh, look at me, ooh, I'm a sexy English teacher. Yes. Could you get onto that sex change?
Yes, I don't know if I can do it in a week.
Oh, okay.
But yes, maybe I could maybe drag. Maybe I could appear in drag.
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 What do you mean by drag?
Drag. If a man drags up, or it means he's dressing up to look like a woman.
Okay, that's good.
In drag.
So there you know.
So I'm going to do that next week. There's something else I can do, and to increase your viewership.
I
Mr. Duncan.
think that might have the opposite effect.
Would anybody object to me appearing on Mr. Duncan's live English show dressed as a woman?
I would definitely.
In order to increase your ratings.
I would object.
That's what we want. We want more people seeing you. So if that's, I'm willing to do whatever is necessary.
JC Geordie has sent a donation on the live chat.
Oh, how lovely.
Thank you very much. Also, you can send it through PayPal as well. And
Thank you, JC Geordie.
And then you don't have to pay YouTube anything. So thank you very much to everyone who's been involved today. We are going. I'm glad you've enjoyed today's live stream. Steve is going.
Analytic Brain. Haven't seen Analytic Brain on for a while.
Yes, Analytic Brain has been on today all day.
Oh, how lovely. I've only just seen the name there.
Catch you later.
I'm off to make some tea cakes. Bye-bye.
It's gone. It's already going dark outside. Look outside. Wow, my goodness, look how dark it's going already. Wow, the day is already coming to an end. And so will today's live stream. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm back next Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching, and I hope you will join me next Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Until the next time we meet here on YouTube. Ta-ta for now.